Okay, so Scout is a game that comes out a lot. A lot.
A lot. Far too much if you ask certain people.
Right.
Like me, I actually don't really like it that much.
Yeah, same here. My wife too. But what do you play if you don't have Scout? Or don't want to play Scout?
Good games.
Oh, well, let's pick 6 of them. Okay, so Scout actually is a very popular game, it seems to have legs. It's still getting played.
Yeah, this is it came out several years ago, and then it's been reprinted a few different times. In fact, I think it's sold in Targets in the U.S. even.
Is it really?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that's several of the Oink games like Deep Sea Adventure.
Yep.
Some of those. So they've really, really picked up. Tom does his best-selling games from Board Game Bliss every month, and Scout has been on there multiple months.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's I'm fine with it. My wife does not like it, and you are more on the lean to the not like it.
I don't really like it a whole lot, but I recognize it's a well-designed, it's a very clever game. I was surprised I actually played it at 2 players at the World Series of Board Gaming, and I thought that the 2-player mode was actually the best mode for it. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's grown on me a little bit. I appreciate it more, but yeah, my first reaction was, ugh. Don't like.
Yeah, and that's when I will still play it because it's such a quick game. I'll be like, all right, if you like it, we'll play it.
Yeah.
But these are 6 games, and I picked my 3 are more quick style card games. They couldn't really match the mechanics exactly. Obviously.
No. I think that's one of the nice things that separates Scout is that idea of picking up a card, recruiting someone from someone else's act, right?
Yes.
Thematically speaking. Take a card, slot it in your hand. I think that's a good way that it does it. I don't love how it actually ties into the whole flow of the game.
Right.
But I recognize that it's a well-made one. And so, I try to pick good, clever card games here as well.
Well, good. All right, so these are 6 games to try if you like Scout.
My first pick for another clever card game is called Boast or Nothing. Now, this is one that's very hard to find, but it is getting reprinted this year from Portland Game Collective, a company that specializes in small card games like this. It's being rethemed to Best of Neapolitan because Boast or Nothing, or Best of Neapolitan, is a 3-suit trick-taking type game where the relative strength of the 3 suits will change. You actually take these little tokens, and when a trick is won with the blue suit, it goes to the very bottom of the stack, and now yellow and red are stronger than it. And so the relative strength of your hand is constantly changing between each card play, but it's done in a way where you are really, you have a lot of control of when do you want to play cards to win it, when do you want to play cards to lose with them, because this is one where it's 9 cards. If you win none of the tricks, you get 2 points. If you win exactly 2 tricks in like a 3-player game, you get 1 point. And so it's
interesting.
Very clever. And I love this, the reprint of it is going to have, like I said, Best of Neapolitan. So it's going to be the 3 ice cream flavors in Neapolitan.
And just like that, I'm back in.
Yeah.
It's a nasty ice cream, but I like ice cream.
You don't like Neapolitan?
No, I like flavors. I like one flavor. Pick a flavor. Pick a lane, Chris.
What about spumoni?
That's an Italian sausage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there you go. Boast or Nothing or Best of Neapolitan.
Okay, so mine is going to be, again, a card game, but this is kind of cheating here because there's 2 different versions. This is Fantasy Realms or Marvel Remix.
Oh, nice.
And I'll pick this because they're very quick card games. The whole thing is you're just trying to get the best set of cards in your hand. With Marvel, I think there's a theme, the best team. Fantasy Realms, the best ones that are going to play off each other to score points. So you're just pretty much going to draw a card either from the deck or from in front of you, and then you're going to place it and you're going to discard. That's all it is. You keep going until you have the best scoring cards in your hand. So this surprised me how much I did like Fantasy Realms when I first played it. And you have played this, right?
I've played it, yeah. I played a good amount of this and Marvel Remix. There's another card game very similar to it from a company that specializes in biblical-themed games called...
Really?
Old Testament Overtime Draft, or OT Draft, or something like that. And it's Old Testament characters in, like, football positions. So you have, like, Moses stiff-arming someone out of the way. It's pretty...
Really?
You should look it up, yeah. But it's very Fantasy Realms-ish.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I do like that. There's a Star Trek one that I do not like at all.
heard that.
Yeah, it was very rough. But these are really fun. And again, they play really quick. I think this fits into that kind of genre about something that hits a table quick. I think it's 20 minutes or so. So I do think if you haven't played this, Fantasy Realms or Marvel Remix, both of those I think are really good.
So Scout is what's often called like a shedding game where you're trying to shed out your hand of cards. So my next pick is an almost shedding game.
Oh.
And this is Seers Catalog, designed by Taylor Reiner, who does, this is his specialty, is trick-taking and shedding games, right? I think what is really clever about this one is it has the same type of thing. Someone plays out, 3 2s, and so you have to try to climb up. Or I could play 3 4s or something like that with it. But there's a lot of times in this game where you want to pass, because the idea of the game is that when someone empties their hand, they score 0 points. Everybody else can score points, and you do want points in this game, but you will score points equal to the lowest valued card still in your hand. So you don't want to hold on to a 2, right? You would rather, the ideal situation, have only a 12 left in your hand. Because the other wrinkle is you will lose 1 point for every card still in your hand. So if you have a 2 and you have 5 cards, you score 2 points minus 5. If you have only 1 12 in your hand, you're going to score 11 points. So you almost want to shed out. But the problem is that when you have only a few cards left, at that point you're forced to play. So if you're holding on to 12s, you're being forced to shed them out, and shedding out means you score 0. So it's a weird wrinkle on the genre, but I think it does something really clever that I haven't seen before. Just one little rules wrinkle, and then it opens this game up to a brand new way of playing.
I have not played this because it just seems, the name never drew me in. I know you like this a lot.
I do.
Yeah, and it's Seers, S-E-E, right?
Yeah, S-E-E-R-S, yeah. So it's a good, clever pun. It's in the werewolf universe, whatever that means. Right?
Okay. Oh, it's the Seers catalog.
Yeah, the Seer. Yeah, like from Werewolf. So dumb pun, but great pun and great game.
I just realized that Seers. Okay, got it. That's a good pick. Okay, so for me, for Scout, the one thing I do like is trying to get that like massively good hand, right? You know, when you're trying to get it, you're trying to work towards it, and usually the round ends before you get that big boom, you know? So, and that's a fun thing. It's even fun in poker. So I thought, this is one that I think brought poker to the mainstream board game, and this is The Gang. The Gang is where you are playing poker out there, and you're trying to rank everyone's hands in poker. I think this I like a lot more than I thought I would, because trying to read other people cooperatively is really enjoyable, especially when you're a couple rounds in and you're realizing, okay, they are overestimating their hand. Well, they always do that. So you're like, I'm going to have to know that going in, and you try to go ahead and judge back and forth. This game, I do enjoy this game. And you as a poker player, you enjoy this, right?
Yeah, I enjoy. I would not feign to call myself a poker player, but I'm someone I'm familiar with poker, and I've played
You're
it
from Vegas.
Yes. Legally, I have to claim that I'm not a poker player because of all my winnings.
Yeah, so this is really fun. And it's fun to play people with different people at like conventions and things, because the amount of people that don't know how to play poker at board game conventions is staggering. So It makes this really enjoyable. It's like, I have got a pair of 6s. I'm going to crush it. So it's really fun. And then just to know several rounds in, again, this plays quick. It's fun. I enjoy this a lot. So this is The Gang.
There's so many good games I could have picked, but my number one kind of jumped out to me pretty quickly, and this is a game called The Lie. This is from DeVere Games. And it is a game where like Scout, right, once you have your hand of cards, you're not allowed to rearrange them. So you have to play them next to each other. And there are 4 different colors. So you can play cards that are the same color next to each other. So if you have a 1 next to a 2, you play them down as a 12. If you have a 4, then a 2, then a 2, you can play those 3 down as 422. But they all have to be the same color. The reason the game is called The Lie is because everyone, kind of Galaxy Trucker style, you shuffle all the cards face down onto the tabletop, and everyone is grabbing cards and adding them to hand. And so the back of the card will tell you something about, say, this card is a red 4. One of those 2 things is a lie. So if you're trying to grab a bunch of red cards to put them together, or if you're trying to grab a bunch of high cards because 4s are better than 1s, you're sitting there grabbing these cards and going, oh crud, that one's blue. Do I stick it in the front or in the back? And so you are kind of in real time, everyone's crafting their hand. And once everyone has 12, then you start playing. Huh. It is a wild game. It's super silly. The scoring is probably the weakest part of it, but I don't care because I have so much fun playing it, trying to do that thing in Scout where you're trying to put good cards together and you just keep drawing different colors going, well, how do I make this work? And then you do find a way to make it work. It's really good.
All right, that sounds good. How long is it?
Oh, it's very fast. I think you play 3 or 4 hands. You could probably do it in like 20 minutes.
Huh.
So,
okay.
Yeah, this is it's more of like a party game almost, mixed with that card sheddings type. So, whereas Seers catalog is more cerebral and thinky, this one is just kind of fun forward.
Okay. Yeah, I've not played that, but I would. Yeah.
Yeah, you should try it.
All right, and finally, this is the one that probably was the first one I thought about when I thought about Scout. Something that's fun, light, keep going around. And this is, I'm sure you played this, No Thanks.
Ooh, I like your picks. I like your picks a lot because I was kind of stuck in like the card shedding realm.
Right, you were.
And this is a little more tangential. I like that.
It is. No Thanks. If you don't know, No Thanks is pretty much you're going to flip a card and then you either have to take that card or you have to pass and say no thanks, and you're going to take a chip, place it on there, and you eventually have to take that card if you have no more chips or you choose to take it. And at the end, those cards kind of count against you. But the whole thing is you only count the lower card in a run. So if you see something, you're like, well, that won't hurt me as much because it'll be above it or whatever, or if it's a lower one. So all of that, it plays really quick. I enjoy this game. And this game, it's an older game. It's got several different editions, but it's got legs.
It really does. There's something so fun about just kind of passing and be like, oh, I'm going to stick somebody else with this. And at some point, there's so many chips on that card, and you say, well, if I take it, yeah, it's negative points, but I'll have all these chips.
That's it. Yeah.
I think what's really neat about this, and particularly another one you mentioned earlier of Fantasy Realms, is that the thing in Scout that is so unique about it, people say the flipping cards. Well, that is unique, but it's that idea that you're going to be taking cards that other people have played out.
Right.
And this kind of has that feel where everyone's looking at the middle of the table, looking up at the players, and you're like, "Ooh, what do I do here?" And so I like that kind of focus, that draw to on the table as well as at the other players.
Because you're also playing the players. You're like, I would take it, but I want to wait one more time to get a few more chips. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, you took it right before me.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that does have that feel again. So that's no thanks. Okay, so those were 6 games to play if you like Scout.
Or even if you don't. Like I said, we're probably some of the milder fans of it. I don't hate it, but I think that it's kind of been warming up. I've been warming up to it. And like I said, surprisingly good 2-player game. Actually.
It is, and it's one of those things that's funny. It's like, these might be 6 games to recommend if someone wants to play Scout. You're like, hey, or we could play Seers Catalog.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But again, if you guys have any that you like that are similar or that similar time length than Scout, put those in the comments.
Yeah, exactly. Approachable, fast, easy to get to the table. Yeah.
Because let's be honest, those games hit the table a lot at cons or at game nights and whatever, and that's where I think Scout fills a void that a lot of games can go in that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm Joy Evans.
And I'm Chris Yee.
And we'll see you later playing Scout.
Hey folks, thanks for joining us for that video. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hey, make sure you check out what's happening where I'll cover an app on an iOS or a Switch device, and you can check it out along with me. Thanks very much. You've been watching The Dice Tower.
Okay.
It's in there. It's in here.
It's in there somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can wing it. Let's make them up as they go along.
Batman Beyond, Young Justice, Hey Arnold, Dollhouse.
Is everything from Marvel? Why do you look so dark?
I guess this light is kind of angled up, right?
Yeah.
Is that?
I think someone breaks in here at night and re-angles her lights. Can you imagine that thief? Like, this is hilarious.
You're gonna get so much glare. Yeah.
I love it. I work at Shop and Sit Down. Okay.
Thinker themer, you come in here, you mess with our light settings. I know.
Yeah, I know. We know you actually live in town, and you're like, "Oh, point this to the wall."
Yeah. Oh, we live in Australia. Sure.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
Whatever.